When life gets real, the mic stays warm. Hosted by the dad with lots of charm. Insights are sharp and data's tight. The lens already and the jokes online. Hot takes, real talk, keeping it true. From high school halls to podcast cues, live a little, learn a lot. Turn it up, this show is hot. Grab your coffee and let's get into it. No filter, no fluff, just real talk. Let's do it. Ready or not, here we go. It's the time for Muffman to start the show.
Welcome to Hot Takes with the Murphman. I am the Murphman. I'm here with my co-host Connor. Good morning, Connor. How are we doing today?
Good. How are we doing today, Murphman?
I am doing great today. How about the fact that I'm doing great? Isn't that like something we don't ever hear anymore?
Never hear it anymore. That is brand new almost.
It is, right? Just so you guys know, we're wearing our shirts today called Crush Cancer. We wear these in honor of my wife. We lost to breast cancer. But today, specifically, we are wearing it because I had cancer. And I say I had. I don't know if you can see my eyes here. They're a little bruised and whatnot. Turn the camera to me.
Mm-hmm.
You can see my eyes a little bruised there. Okay. So they actually had to cut out a skin mole, whatever. And they said skin cancer doesn't spread, so it's good. So I just want to let everybody know that's why we're in the Crush Cancer today, right, Connor?
Yep.
All right. So before we get into the show, let's make sure everyone knows that they're getting into. I'm the Murphman, and my views and Connor's are ours alone. We are not experts, and this is an unfiltered show, so some adult language may slip out of our mouths. And if you're ready for frank discussion, what do you think, Connor? Are you guys ready?
I think so.
You think so? All right, so I think it's time to ignite the fuse. Connor, everything okay over there?
No.
What happened?
Streamlabs won't play because of credentials or something.
I turn the mics off.
Okay. Where?
All right. Well,
We're muted on StreamYard.
let's split cam. All right. How's that? Yeah. But now, okay. So I'll tell you what. Turn on your mic on your screens.
Okay. Split cam's on, StreamYard, and Streamlabs won't work. So
Okay, just hit record on Streamlabs.
it's recording.
Okay. All right. All right. So let's ignite the fuse.
Or we already did.
Right. So they were talking about procrastination. It's often an emotional issue. All right. It's often a sign of laziness is what most people think, and it's not. It's just how to get to work with you to get your brains started and getting things done. All right. The fuse is lit, and we're going to talk about the procrastination. What do I mean by it's not a sign of laziness? What do you think?
That's not a sign of laziness?
Procrastination is putting things off. It's not a sign of laziness, though.
How is it not a sign of laziness?
Because it's about getting started. That is the hardest thing about procrastination. It's one thing to say, hey, we're going to do this tomorrow or next week or later. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But when you have a lot of things to do and you don't know what to start with, that's not laziness. That's just you don't know how to activate yourself. And that's what we're going to talk about today. Do you remember last week we talked about the Pomodoro Technique?
Yeah.
The 15 minutes and 5 and all that. Basically, that's what it is. Okay. And I'll give you an example, you guys. How long was it? Probably about maybe 3 years ago that I decided to open all the boxes up and sort everything in the house and get rid of stuff, like spring cleaning. And I had all this energy, right? And I put everything in these boxes. And then I was like, I'll do it later. How long were those boxes there? Probably about 2 weeks.
In your room, no, more like 2 months.
I know. I was trying to be nice.
Sure. I'm like, you had those for so long.
Yeah. They were there. They weren't in the way. I wasn't worried about them. I got them organized. I got whatever the anxiety that I had, got it out of my brain. I never worked on the actual boxes until later. Once I got started on that, I started with the simplest box, and then I went to the more complex boxes of stuff that we're going to get rid of. And I know we took a bunch of stuff to Goodwill over the years. You know, we've been cleaning house little by little, right?
Yeah, from like the back or from the front to the back, technically.
Yeah, well, no, they don't understand what that means. You know, we'll talk more about that, but let's get to the burning question. It keeps kicking me out of stream. All right. So it's A, they're lazy. We already said procrastination is not being lazy, right?
Mm-hmm.
B, they're unmotivated. That's not the case. I was motivated. I just didn't have the way to ignite the fuse, so to speak. Afraid of failure or judgment. Or they're not good at time management. Well, the answer is C, the fear of failure and judgment. Now, what does that mean? Fear of failure and fear of judgment. What do you think?
Me personally, I think just not wanting to do something and then seeing on how bad it could get, and you could get embarrassed of how, like, what happened. I can't really word it, but
well, that's fine.
Something like that.
That's fine. Think about this. There's a thing called fear of failure where you don't want to start something because you might fail at it.
Mm-hmm.
There's also fear of success. And it's one of those things where what if I start something and I get really good at it and then I have to do all this stuff? So that's the fear of success. And judgment is people might think that you're not going to do it.
Bless you.
When you're doing something, you don't want to start something because people might say, oh, look at that. He's not good at this or not good at that. And that's one of those things that you got to think of. Okay. You know, procrastination is not laziness. It's just to activate and get started. That's one of the things we got to learn how to do. You know, it's funny because when you think about it, most people aren't procrastinators. They just don't want to do things. Me, myself, I'm a person of action.
You are.
If I say I'm going to do something, I usually do it, right? Good example is this podcast. Did you think it would be to the level we are now?
No, not at all.
Not at all, right? Do you remember the first VX10 that I bought, the little communicator with the one microphone and headphones? Yeah, it wasn't a great set. And then we moved up, and then our friend Letty helped us with the studio. And before you know it, it just kicked off. And we're here now, you know.
And we spent so much money on this.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, it's a lot. I'm not gonna lie. You know, but I think we should do today's hot take, Connor. What do you think?
That sounds great.
That's right, you guys. For years, I just thought I was disorganized and that I was lazy, and that was not the case. Okay. It just I did not have the activator to get started. So let's go over that again. Procrastination, uh, sorry, stop calling yourself lazy is actively hurting your progress. Today's hot take is procrastination isn't a weakness, it's a signal. We're showing you how to work with your brain, not against it. That's what we're going to be doing today. You know, for years, I just thought I was disorganized, like I said, maybe lazy, and it really affected my confidence. You know, when I was younger, if I look back on my life, okay, if I look back on my life and I tell myself, was I a failure growing up? And I'm going to say yes, because I had nowhere near the potential. I mean, I should say I never used the potential I had. Can we agree on that? If I would have been able to get more motivated, maybe, or do different things I should have, before you know it, I would have been able to do much better in school. And I didn't get to do that, did I?
Not as much.
You know, I didn't have the support from my parents, right? Uh, you know, our cousin, the guy who I love to death,
Hmm.
he was talking to me one day, and I was like, you know, you were like a mentor to me. I looked up to you. He's like, whoa, 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 don't put that pressure on me. I'm like, well, dude, you're one of the reasons I got to where I am now. And he doesn't understand that, you know, he doesn't see it.
Mm.
You know, sometimes it's not just us not wanting to do something, it's sometimes deeper. You know, the moment I realized that procrastination was a lie, it's really about avoiding a feeling, not avoiding a task, was something that everything changed for me. It was a feeling of control, failure, judgment, success. And I was always afraid to go out and say something. Then I joined the army, and that changed my life. You know, my first job in the army was a draftsman, like an architect. Now, I'm not a good artist, but Connor, you've seen my work, my blueprints, right?
Hmm.
On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the best you would think I could ever do, and 1 being the worst, what do you think I was at when you saw those drawings,
For someone that
schematics?
doesn't do blueprints and that's never seen one, I would say you did like a 8 or 9.
Yeah. We had the way we did in the army was they had the way the blueprint goes over a screen, and then the light goes underneath it, and you're able to see if your blueprint matches the master one. That's how they grade you, and they mark off all the things you don't have that are matching. And I did pretty good. Like, for example, you know what a compass is, right? The little pencil and thing to make a circle. You put it in and spin it, and it's
Oh, yeah.
another compass, like north south. And it's funny. because you're not allowed to poke the paper. Okay, so you have to use this compass and spin it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you can't poke the paper. And every time you poke, you can only have like 3 pokes before they fail you, and then you have to redo those entire projects again.
Oh God.
Yeah. So, but the point being is, I did something that I thought would be really cool. Be an architect, and go and learn how to do blueprints, and now it's CAD, computer aided drafting, right? I got into it. I succeeded. I came back here, and I never used it in the reserves
Never.
ever. Well, not ever, because part of my job was to actually make signs, believe it or not. Okay, but we had to write the letters. So I want you to picture this board, probably like 8 feet by 5 feet, huge board. And on there, I had to put down every position in the reserves that we had in the unit. And I had to use a certain lettering. And the way you letter is Ames lettering kit. And you actually have to, like, the pen's here and the point's here, and then you scroll on the letter and it writes the letter above it. And that's why the drafting letters are so perfect, because they actually use a certain kit. It's not just handwritten.
Oh.
And but anyway, I digress. The point of that was, I went to the Army and I did something amazing. I really did. And I was like, this was really cool. I can do things. For the first time in my life, I felt I could succeed. And I didn't need anything from anybody.
Mm-hmm.
Your mom was a big support for me in doing the things I wanted to do. You're a huge support for me. My friends are huge support for me. Some people are haters.
Mm.
It is what it is, right? But now I'm not scared to try new things. And you can actually go out and do those things if you just believe in yourself. So doing a task is, you got to say, I can do it. I'll give you an example. Was it Friday? It was yesterday, but Thursday you were sitting here doing your discrete structures. Or was that Friday? Yesterday.
Friday.
So much has happened since yesterday. You were like, I can't get this. And you shut the computer. And then you open it again, because I was doing something, and because we were working together on a secret project. Shh, quiet. We're working together on a secret project. And since I was working on something, you're like, oh, I got to be here. You started working again. You're like, oh, I got it. And then you're like, I don't get it. And you closed it. And I don't know if you caught yourself doing that.
It's because it's like on one section, it's 5 levels, like 5 just problems I have to solve. And it's the last one I just keep messing up on.
Well, maybe I can try to help you with that. I don't know if I can, but
You can.
you maybe never know.
Once you see the table and then on how it works, then you got it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
I just want to do it without the table. That's it. I mean,
The table's there for a reason.
we don't use the table. We can't use the
You
table.
can't use the table. So then, okay.
I just use it as a reference.
Okay.
That's why I have to know it. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Quick question. Last week I asked you to go ask your teachers about the scientific method. Did you ever go do that?
Yes. I asked my discrete structures.
And
that's the only one I talked to.
And what did they say?
She said it's not used in every class, not liberal arts,
Oh, okay.
not like reading or writing, not only in engineering and science mostly, not in math at all.
Anytime there's research.
Anytime there's research, yes. But
So what are those 2 words I want you to say?
you're wrong. It's not in every subject.
What I meant was, I said research. Every class that you do research in is
You said
the
every
same.
class though, because I said math and you said no, it uses scientific method. I'm like, math does not use scientific method.
If you're trying to come up with a new theory, it does. But no one's coming up with new theories. But you know what I mean. Anyway.
We're in college.
Yeah.
I'm a freshman. I don't think I'm going to make something new that hasn't already been made.
You never know.
I'm going to figure out 2 + 2 is 4 and think I win a Nobel Peace Prize.
What do you think you are, Trump?
Uh,
You know,
mhm.
just make your own peace prize.
Oh God.
He
What?
had FIFA's coming to the World Cup this year in the United States, North America, and they're
Uh,
they
they created a
prize
prize
for him, and before you know it, they gave it to him, and then now the Nobel Peace Prize that he did not win because he says he's stopped 9 wars here in the world and he deserves the Nobel Peace Prize. The person actually won the Nobel Peace Prize gave it to him,
Oh God.
and he actually said he's going to take over Greenland because they didn't give him the Peace Prize. Yeah, it's crazy. That's why I said right now,
Nah, he's insane.
but in some ways he is. I'm not going to lie. I think a little bit,
Most ways,
most ways.
from what I've been hearing.
It's possible.
Hmm.
So going back to the procrastination and fear All right, everybody. We had a little bit of technical difficulty. We're still working it out, but I think we're back for the most part. I'm sorry, the power went out and then it reset our wireless internet, so we couldn't do anything. But we'll be right back after these commercials.
It's time for a break. Hot Takes with the Murph Man will return after these messages.
The station where our veterans' voices are heard, MBR Talk.
Hey, thanks for tuning in. Welcome, Quack.
Program are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of any entities they represent.
The web at MB Radio.
According to the VA's suicide data report, an average of 22 veterans die by suicide every single day. This figure is a sobering reality and a crisis that demands our immediate attention and compassion. We must recognize and address the fact that every 24 hours, 22 veterans are losing their lives to suicide. The war doesn't always end when our veterans come home. The invisible wounds they carry, wounds that are real and heavy, require continuous support. No veteran should have to carry this burden alone. Many veterans experience stress and disconnection as they navigate life after service. But there is hope, there is help, and you are not alone in this fight. There's a vibrant community ready to support you, offering friendship, understanding, and shared experiences. You served your country, now let us serve you. Don't fight the toughest battle in silence. Your mission now is to reach out. Dial 988, then press 1. Text them at 838255. The Veterans Crisis Line is available 24/7. Every day, we save lives. Your life is invaluable, and your service is honored. Let's work together to make 22-0 again. No veteran should face their struggles alone. Together, we can ensure every veteran finds the support and hope they deserve.
He gets help, but he still feels off. Sees an ad on the TV about a dog batting said, "This is a man's best friend." Whoa, so he goes one day and he picks it up. Never thought a dog could bring so much love and put a smile on his face. But he's finally found a saving grace. He needs help, but he don't know the path to take or the way to go to be free. Put his mind at ease. We will help, 'cause we can't stand to see a soldier go to God by their own hands. We will do everything we can to make 22-0 again.
There are 3 things you must know before you try to fix your productivity. And honestly, I almost didn't share these secrets. We are diffusing the emotional time bomb by defining procrastination, emotional regulation, and the Pomodoro Technique. Let's lay the coals. Procrastination, the act of delaying or postponing a task. Emotional regulation, the ability to manage emotional experiences, as procrastination is often a form of this. The Pomodoro Technique, a time management method using a timer to break down work into intervals separated by short breaks. Now that the coals are laid, Murph Man, let's discuss the foundation.
And they just kicked me straight to the commercial.
Yeah, we are feeling the heat. Right, Connor?
Yeah. I'm gonna just come on.
I thought you said you had it fixed.
No, I did. I'm just
Are you in StreamYard? No.
no. Something I'm not in.
All right, so let me do this again since I thought you had it. I let you go. Let me let everyone hear this straight from the fire.
If you're struggling to start, this is why it isn't your fault. The number one lie you've been told is that you need grit. But Mark's story proves you actually need a small step. After his promotion, he was paralyzed by fear until he used the 15-minute rule to build unstoppable momentum. Mark started procrastinating on all his work because he was afraid of failing in his new role and being judged. His mentor told him to start with the smallest possible task for just 15 minutes, which helped him build momentum and overcome his fear. That was a story from the fire. Murph Man, are you feeling the heat?
I got kicked out. No.
On StreamYard?
Why aren't you in StreamYard?
It's, dude, I've been trying to join entering this.
I said, are we good? You said yes.
I'm sorry, dude.
This one tiny shift in how you view your to-do list will change everything, and it only takes seconds to implement. The heat map shows you how to start small to win big. Identify the real reason you are procrastinating, such as the fear of failure or perfectionism. Break big projects down into smaller tasks and start with the smallest step to make the project feel less daunting. Use the Pomodoro Technique to prevent burnout and stay focused. Practice self-compassion. Don't beat yourself up for procrastinating. Be kind to yourself and get back to work. The map is drawn. Back to Murphman for the next segment.
So like I was saying, the to-do list will change everything. Now, I will tell you this though, when you really, really look at your life and you say, all of these things are happening, I don't want to do it anymore, and you just take that break, right? You got to go back and do it. One of the things I like to talk about is the white horse. When you tell someone, don't think of it, you can think of anything you want, just don't think of the white horse, right? Anything in the world, think of anything you want, just don't think of the white horse. And what do? Think of the white horse. Because the more you tell yourself, I don't want to do it, the more daunting it becomes. But I will tell you what, one of the things that we talk about is where you get burned, meaning those are our pitfalls. But we'll talk about that right after we come back from break.
When I needed help, I wasn't shamed. I was able to get the mental health treatment that I needed. I felt like that really helped me just get out of my own way and become a successful person, become a happy person. Hi, my name is Jess. I was in the Army from 2012 to 2016, and I was a 74 Delta. I'm an immigrant. I felt really honored to be so blessed with certain opportunities and being to live in this country. I wanted to give back. My time in the Army was pretty cool. I just wanted to make sure that I could show up, pull my weight, and be a part of the team. I was sexually assaulted when I was in the Army the first year, and that really shook me up because it was from someone else that was in the Army. We wear the same uniform, we're supposed to be on the same team, we're supposed to have each other's back. Like, how could you do that to me? So prior to seeking mental health treatment, I was drinking a lot. Reckless behavior or just running from those thoughts, trying to keep myself busy, and I just wouldn't slow down. I couldn't slow down. After service, before I got mental health help, I was just tired. I felt like I could finally breathe, but I also felt like I didn't have enough energy to even take care of myself. I would drink a lot. I would, smoke. I would just do reckless things, and just each of my vices led me down to a dead end. And I was like, I can't do this anymore. I was reminded that I am entitled to those benefits. I'm not a burden. And, that's what the VA is there for. I put my pride aside and I made an appointment, and I was just honest and open and willing. And I wanted to have the tools to be able to take care of myself if I am having a bad day. The mental health treatment that has worked for me has been intensive therapy, so talk therapy. I've done cognitive behavioral therapy. And with that, it's just working through my thoughts and my actions and why I think the way that I do, why I do the things that I do, taking that time to slow down and really question why I'm doing what I'm doing has really eased all that reckless behavior or the destructive behavior, because I can't get better and I can't move forward if I'm having my own internal war with myself. The mental health diagnosis that I received was PTSD, depression, anxiety. I would absolutely recommend all women veterans to check out the Women's Clinic. It also helps them learn more about us. There's not very many women veterans that use the VA, so the more that we do the surveys, the more that we go into those clinics, the more they can kind of learn about our demographic and improve treatment for us. I had to learn that not everyone is against me and not everyone's going to hurt me. It means a lot to have friends that can support me through this journey, because I know how much it took for me to even get here, and they can see that. I have people that are cheering me on and also there for me during those really hard times too. When I can show up honestly, that connection strengthens and it builds that deeper bond, and I know that they're truly there for me, that they truly love me. It's been great being able to show up better, and I know that they can tell the difference too. I love going on hot girl walks. I love putting on music and walking around my neighborhood. I love playing with my dog. I really love animals, so I'll volunteer. Just try anything and everything. The VA is there. You don't know what you don't know, and they're there to help you. You're worth that effort. The advice I have for women veterans is the sisterhood that you didn't have while in service, you can find that as a veteran. We're all cheering everybody on. Everybody has a seat at the table, and we're stronger together than we are apart.
The video you guys just saw was a video talking about PTSD and sexual abuse. And again, get help, you guys. Go to the counselor, get some help. You need to get stuff out of your brain. We're talking about the emotional regulation. That's one of those things. But right now we're going to talk about those pitfalls that you'll have and where you can get burned.
Don't make these 3 mistakes that cost me years of confidence. It only takes a moment to learn the correct method. This is the danger zone. Do not believe you are lazy, as procrastination is often a sign of a deeper emotional issue. Don't just try to just do it, but understand the underlying emotional issue. Don't ignore the small tasks, as they are often the hardest to get started on. Murphman, let's find out more about what it takes to prevent getting burned.
All right, so do not believe you're lazy. Again, we've talked about procrastination is not a thing about being lazy. It is about not having the emotional regulation that you need, the mental health that you need to get things done. Confidence in yourself is the hardest thing to build. Guys tend to get self-esteem from things and tasks that they do, and women tend to get self-esteem for when they're around their friends. I'm going to give you some relationship advice real quick, okay? Just in general. We're guys. When we have a problem, we fix it, don't we? We come up with solutions and we fix it. That's what we do. Well, of course, yeah, we tried. All right. Women want to be heard. So here's the thing. If you're talking to a guy, right, you want to give solutions. If you're talking to a girl, just listen. That's all they need. And I'm not saying this is a male-female misogynistic thing. Right? No, this is reality of it. Women want to be heard. And it was so funny because after I divorced my first wife, that's my Mexican kicking in. That was my Mexican Spanish kicking in. My dad died, and I called to let her know, and we talked for like 2.5 hours. And she's like, "How come you couldn't be like this when we were married?" And my answer, I said, "Because I loved you back then, and I cared about you, and I was trying to fix you. Now you're not my problem anymore. I can't fix you. I can't do it. I'm not with you anymore." You know what I mean? Yeah. And it was funny because that statement I just made, women want to be heard. And that's probably the first time I've listened to my first wife in a very, very long time. We got divorced after 7 years of problems. 7 years. This was 2.5 years after we got divorced. Yeah.
You've known her for how long now?
Since high school. She wasn't my high school sweetheart. No, don't think that. I've known her since high school. Remember I told you, again, I wasn't the best student. And I would have to go to summer school and night school. And that's where I met some of my best friends in the world. Robert, Gilbert. You don't know Gilbert. Yoli. Deepest friendships that I've ever had. And we met at those programs. And before you know it, I ended up graduating and then bumping into her again and started talking to her and eventually got married. I know it's weird, but that's the way it was, but we were married 13 years. Yeah.
You know what? I'm proud of you for that.
Why? Why be proud?
I don't know. Went on to double digits.
Well, your mom and I went to double digits. We almost made it to 11. We were 2 weeks shy. But yeah, we were in double digits too. So when you say I don't hang around and keep women in my life, there's proof that I do if they're worthy of it. If they're not worthy of my time and things don't go good, I just cut the cord.
You just done like that?
Yeah, just done like that. Another thing here that we've got to talk about is, don't try to just do it when you're trying to do tasks, okay? Understand the underlying emotional issue. For example, when your mom passed away, we had to get rid of all her things, all her belongings. That was very hard for me to do. And what was it, a couple of days ago, we were in my closet and you saw something. Do you remember what you saw?
In the closet?
Yeah.
Wait, whose closet?
My closet.
Oh, I saw her wedding dress.
Her wedding
And I
dress.
thought it was your little,
Secret.
Yeah, like a little make-a-doll Barbie.
You're so stupid, dude.
Well, I mean, I don't know what to think.
I've kept it there. It's obviously not where I look at it often, but I know it's there. I just can't bring myself to get rid of that. That's just the one thing I just can never get rid of.
How much was it?
A couple $100. My dad paid for it.
Okay, that's not bad.
Yeah, it was so funny because he comes here to town and he tells me when I go there we're gonna buy her dress. And he was here for like 2 weeks, or maybe a week and a half. And I was like, okay, we got to make sure we can get it altered and everything, right? And we went looking for dresses, and they were so expensive, Connor.
How expensive?
Hundreds to thousands of dollars. Okay. Oh, yeah, weddings are expensive. And your mom was a real simple person, and she just says, "I'm gonna take this dress," and he was like, "Okay," and he paid for it. And then later on, as we were talking about him, so he goes, "I'm so glad your wife was humble, man, because I was not going to pay thousands of dollars. I didn't want to be the one to tell her, no, you got to go cheap." you know. But understanding those underlying emotional issues is something that we have to understand. Like, I have that dress, and I'm procrastinating, throwing it away. Would you say that's procrastination? And I say throwing it away, I mean I could donate it or something. But that's a piece of your mom that I keep. It's not really procrastination, right? And then you have, of course, don't ignore the small tasks, as they are often the hardest to get started on. Because you're like, oh, that's easy, I'll do it later. Oh, that's easy, I'll do it later. Before you know it, you're not doing anything, right? So when you think about all that, it's one of those things that you need to be aware of, that start on those smallest tasks and go bigger. Okay. Same thing when you're doing, like, you don't want to pay off credit cards. You start with the smallest balance, pay it off. Then you use the payment for that credit card to go to the next one, pay it off. Then you go to the next one, then you pay it off. And by the end of this year, I'll be debt free. Isn't that pretty cool? Yeah, I've been using that for the last couple of years and paying off my debt little by little.
That's good.
And then I get into more debt with this studio. Actually, we returned some stuff yesterday. And yeah. Well, compared to everything I bought, it's some.
Like half, maybe.
I got kicked off live again. It's just in trouble with live.
On TikTok?
Yeah.
Is it because you're...
No. Just internet connection slow.
Well, I joined back StreamYard, so we're fine.
Oh, you are? Okay. Anyway, let me just turn that off.
Okay.
You say you're going to do it later, you're going to do it later, you're going to do it later. And I bought equipment, and we didn't need it. And I had it here a whole month and a half, and I should have returned it right away. But I didn't. Okay. I actually was able to go out there and see the deadline to return stuff, and that was yesterday. Well, today actually, but yesterday we went and returned everything. But they've been sitting there for how long? A month and a half?
About, yeah.
I just never asked, I'll do it later. It wasn't hard. I just said I'll do it later. And I finally did. So think about that. And when we come back from break, we're going to go ahead and talk about the heat shields and those things that those things that you can do to change your situation and protect yourself from getting into those pitfalls.
Recon by fire, gentlemen.
The way we are in combat, and you never leave anyone behind. And it doesn't change when you get home.
I think vets really need to help vets and let them know, dude, it's gonna be all right.
trying to piece together who we were before with who you are now, you know. Of course it's a struggle, but I think it's just a matter of, you know,
That's a wrap on this episode.